Well, you know what they say. The pen is more powerful than the sword. Today, I'm going to show you how this simple pen can be one of the biggest manifestation tools in your toolbox. You don't want to miss this one. Hello, hello, hello. You are listening to or watching the Manifest on Purpose show. Thank you so much for showing up each and every single time to get these messages. Thank you so much for inviting others to come and join us as well. And thank you for subscribing not only here, but also on the website at Kimberly, KIMBALEY.com. I'm here to help you grow. I'm here to help elevate your mindset. So make sure that you know I have a purpose for doing this. And the purpose for doing this is the God in me loves the God in you. All of my videos have been inspired by something. And this video today has been inspired by something that I didn't even remember, something that I look back upon. And I just found out that this powerful technique was working. Even though I knew that this technique was possible, I really was able to see this technique working literally in my life. And I'm going to share that with you today. And I'm going to share with you how you can use the same technique to align with your manifestation. Before we get into the conversation today, the first thing I want to do is read our astronumerologist report. This report is courtesy of astronumerologist Lloyd Strayhorn. It is Monday, November the 11th. The sun is in Scorpio, the moon is in Pisces. It's a one universal month, a 3 universal week, and a 3 universal day. Whatever plans you may have in mind today, think big. And that's what we're going to do here today. Think results and think success. Along the way, you may run into the doubters and the naysayers who may convincingly explain why you can't do this, that, or the other. However, what they don't know is that Jupiter, the planet of luck and prosperity, is in your corner today. Actually, it's in everybody's corner, except in your case, you happen to have the presence of mind and knowledge to take advantage of today's cosmic wave and ride it all the way to your final destination. Again, but if the others only knew. Pisces, Sagittarius, and those born on the 3rd, 12th, 21st, and 30th of the month, without a doubt, are the top dogs. And that is our astronumerology report for today. And once again, that is courtesy of astronumerologist Lloyd Strayhorn and the Star 8 mobile numerology app. You can get that at a star 8, ASTAR, the number 8.com. You can also go to Google Play and download it, App Store, or you can go to linktr.ee/numbersanyou. Please check it out. Please check out some of his other exclusive products and services. Speaking of products and services, 2025 is coming in swiftly. It's going to be the year of the nine. It's going to be a very transformative year. I want to make sure that you are guided throughout that year to ensure the best success for you in 2025. If you're interested in knowing what 2025 looks like for you so that you can navigate through this season, Go to Kimberly.com and get your astronumerology forecast for the year. Also, make sure you pick up a personal report, a compatibility report, or your business report. You can also get an astronumerology consultation at that same website. And please allow me to invite you Wednesday, January the 1st, 2025. It is going down. This is the Vision Board Mastery. In this workshop, you're going to manifest 2025. We're going to set the stage for the year, what we want, our desires. Make sure that you sign up for this workshop. You're going to learn about creative visualization, get some techniques and tips. You will also learn how to create a vision board, and you will create your very own vision board so that you can plant the seeds of 2025. You will also get to share, speak it into existence, and we will conclude with a guided visualization to also help you plant those seeds for 2025. The QR code is in the bottom of the corner of the flyer, or you can also go to Kimberly.com. Let's get into today's topic. For as long as I've been studying, researching, and practicing manifestation, I am still learning. And that's what I love to do, to continue to learn, because we can't put a cap on knowledge. So, all the time, I'm on the lookout for things that people may not really pay attention to. So, let me start with a little bit of the backstory. As a child, I was a person that loved to read. I did it all the time. And at some point, I aspired to be an author. And I know this because I remember in elementary school, while other children were asking for toys, I was asking for things like a typewriter, things like that. So, this is what let me know I was really serious about becoming an author. Fast forward to high school. I love writing then as well. I would have these sessions, and if I would have to give these sessions a name now, I probably would call them automatic writing, where there would be a topic that would just come to my head intuitively, and I will begin writing on that topic. And I would write on that topic sometimes for a few hours, sometimes it would be a couple of days, and I'm still working on that piece and I'm still getting downloads of information. When I went back to read what I had written, I didn't even realize that I was the author. Everything seemed so different than what I thought I would write. It felt like someone else was writing this information down. So I saved notebook upon notebook of things. I wish I had those notebooks now, but unfortunately, no, I don't. But I do have something else. So when I started the Manifesto on Purpose show in 2021, I began by writing each episode out. I would write them in scripts and I would put them in notebooks. And I usually would get the uh, 5 subject notebooks, but the 3 was too little for me. But I would go through these things in like a few days at a time, just writing. I went back to go through some of my things recently, and I found a lot of those notebooks, and they were kind of like hidden off on the side of the closet or something because there was just too many to leave laying around. And I started flipping through these notebooks because I had that thought, let me read what state of mind I was in that time. So I decided to start reading, and I came upon a poem that I do not even remember writing. In fact, it was a notebook of poems that I had written and did not remember them at all. So I decided to start with, of course, the very first poem. As I was reading this poem, it captured my attention because no, I did not remember writing those things, but everything that was in that poem was what I am experiencing in my life today. No joke. And I know you're probably saying, oh, it's just a coincidence or something like that. No, I mean, literally, like the words and terms that I use, the phrases that I use are phrases that I'm hearing around me during this point of my life. And what it taught me was that, wow, even though you don't remember writing this, even though it wasn't an intention that you were aware of, what you wrote in that poem is the reality that you're in during this very moment in time. Now, how deep was that? You know, you got to forgive me. It may not be exciting to you, but this thing is exciting to me. But what this really taught me is the power of the pen. We take this little small pen for granted, and we do not know how much power we have in the pen. And I'm going to go a little bit deeper than that. We take ourselves for granted, and we don't even know how much power lies within us. You better know that you are a powerful being. You are a powerful individual. And what this experience has shown me is that you're manifesting whether you know it or not. You're manifesting whether you're aware or not. Yes, there is power in our words, but there's also power. There's more power in the way that we express them. Because sometimes when we don't verbally set an intention, we emotionally or mentally or physically set intentions. So today I'm going to talk about the power of scripting. And so now I know you're like, okay, you told me this whole story about writing things down, and now you're talking about the power of scripting. What are you talking about? Scripting is simply writing it down, writing your intentions down. And it's going to sound more familiar with you because when I get into this, I'm going to tell you how it connects with some of the other techniques. Now that you know what scripting is, I'm going to teach you how to do it. Here's my approach. I like interactive learning. Today, this technique is going to be hands-on. The very first thing I want you to do is grab your tools, your mighty pen, and some paper. You can pause this and turn it back on if you're ready. If you're not able to at this time, just watch the video all the way through and come back later and replay it and have your tools ready and be ready to go. Okay? So now that you have your pen and paper, I want you to get in a location that is your quiet space. This is a sacred space for you. This is a space that you can go to and you can be distraction free. While in this distraction free zone, I want you to begin thinking about what one intention you want to use for the scripting exercise. We're going to keep it simple. We're going to start with one intention. And at this point, I just want to show you how you can do it. You maybe pause the video if you have to. Now that you have discovered what that intention is, I want you to go ahead and put that intention at the top of your paper. When you put that intention in the top of your paper, I want you to tap into your imagination and start creatively visualizing that thing you put on the top of the paper. For example, if you put a car on top of the paper, I want you to close your eyes and see in your mind that car. And once you see that car, I want you to create a visual video of it. And this video can include you getting in the car, driving the car for the first time. Make sure that the vision you create is one that is exciting to you, that brings joy, that brings passion to you, that makes you really, really want this car even more. Add your emotions to it. Include your five senses. The five senses are important. So when you're using your five senses, there are some things that I want you to remember. We know what our five senses are. Your sense of sight, touch, taste, those. So you want to make sure for each one of those senses you activate it in your vision. So if you're driving that car, what does it smell like in that car? It could smell like new car smell. If it's see the visual of the car, what make, what model, what color. This is how you get detailed about your intention. Touch. How does it feel when you're driving the car for the very first time? And with touch, you can include physically what you feel, such as texture, and you can include your feelings. Get in touch with your feelings, but do that for all of the senses. And the reason why we want to do that for all of the senses is because we want to make sure that the subconscious mind feels like this is reality, because your job is to make this thing seem so real to you that the subconscious mind accepts it as your current reality. You know how they say, and maybe I shouldn't say it, but you know how they say sometimes, like a person lies so good that they believe their own lies. Well, you create this video and you put so much energy and vibration into this video that you can't tell whether it's real or not. And that way it goes on to the subconscious mind. Now, once you have all of those things done, you're going to sit there and write a story. This is another technique that I teach also. It's called writing your story. So what you would do is you will take that visualization and you will turn that small video clip into a story. This story could be the story of you finally being in that car for the first time, the experience that you're having with the car. Where are you going? What are you doing? Include all the details. You know, a great story has many details in it. So the deeper you can go, the better. And allow this story to expand that vision that you've created. Okay, so now that you got your story, I want you to know that you're going to read the story to yourself repetitively. And I suggest the subconscious magic hours. This is, everybody should know this by now, but in case you don't know, this is when you first wake up in the morning and when you're about to doze off at night when you're about to fall asleep at night. And that's because the subconscious mind is more open to suggestion during that time. The brain has not been working as hard as it has been all day long, and you're in that rest state. And make sure that you're reading these stories before you go to sleep. Bonus tip: if you want to get deep and technical about it, record your story. And when you record your story, record it with excitement in your voice. And you can listen to the audio versus reading your story to yourself every night. So that's another good tip. Another thing that you should be aware of is that everything in this story should be the present tense. It should not, your story should not read, I'm going to pick up my new car tomorrow. It shouldn't be like that. It should be like you're already having it now. It should be like you're already in the moment of. And when you're reading that story or listening to that story, make sure you're playing that video clip in your mind of that story. It should get to the part where it should get to the point where the story is so familiar to you that your mind just automatically goes to that video every time you begin to say it or listen to it. Another thing that you can do is to continue to write your story over and over again. So maybe alternate at nighttime. Write the story before you go to sleep while visualizing. In the morning time, just listen to it or read it. So make sure that you're doing both. So it will probably benefit you to do both. One of the reasons that scripting is so powerful is because of the fact that the mind, it doesn't understand the language that we do. Mind understands symbols and images. That's why visualizing things is so important. And symbols, when you look at our letters, they are symbols. So it's easier for you to do it. And you're doing something in repetition. And the repetition of it makes it really effective too. For example, one way that this can happen is, for example, whenever I'm studying something, if I'm just listening to it, sometimes it may be a little harder for me to grasp. But if I pick up my pen and paper and write it down word for word, I'm a note taker. I remember and retain that information. So make sure that you're using your ability to write things down and plan things out. Haven't you ever noticed when you go to a grocery store and you create a list, you get everything you need? It turns out pretty much successful. When something is written, it also holds you accountable to what is written, because you don't want to put down something, set it in stone, and it doesn't happen. So it makes what you do, it makes you more accountable to be focused on whatever that intention is. Well, that is my spiel on scripting. There are a few manifestation techniques that are centered around scripting. One of that is the 369 method. And the 369 method is basically writing down your intention 3 times in the morning, 6 times in the afternoon, and 9 times at night before you go to bed. And it was created because the 3, 6, and 9 are the Tesla numbers, and these numbers are considered especially powerful in numerology as well. So that's the 369 method. There's also writing your story, just like I told you about. Another way to script is you don't even have to create a story if you don't want to. What you can do is you can create a journal, like a good old fashioned journal. And it's important that you do that too, because, like I said, that experience happened to me. I had no idea that that experience led me to align with manifestation. And that's what made me feel like it was synchronicity, because when I found this, it was right during the experience as it was happening. So it was just like it was meant for me to find this at that time. So make sure that you are journaling, writing things down that are on your mind, and go back at later times to see what you were thinking about, what mindset were you in, what was going on in your mind. Sometimes you may get downloads and not quite understand where they're coming from or what they're about. You may understand it better today than you did then. And you can keep a dream journal. And this is one that I need to get more consistent with. The dream journal is also another way of writing things down or scripting. I don't know about manifestations, but perhaps if you have a dream that is about something that you are trying to acquire, write it down so that you can maybe try to find out what the interpretation of that dream is. Anyway, I hope that this information was something that can benefit you. Speaking of benefits, I had no idea what I was writing down several years ago. Make sure you're aware of your intentions, because if you're not aware of your intention, you won't be aware when you align with the manifestation of it. The pen, this little simple writing pen, is more powerful than the sword. I love you to life. This is how you manifest on purpose.